Look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you can read out affirmation cards in the mirror, not lift a finger, and manifest your dream body and your dream life. I'm not going to lie to you. Most people come to this practice of yoga because they're running away from something. Maybe you want to lose weight, maybe you just want to stop those anxiety spirals, maybe you feel this massive void in your chest and you think, okay, maybe if I just do enough back bends and I open up my heart chakra or I find my yoga tribe, then I'll finally feel whole. But if you're practicing from this place of, I'm not enough, then you're missing the entire point. Today, we're going to be talking about the difference between practicing from a mindset of lack versus one of gratitude. And this isn't going to be some love and light spiel because honestly, my students inside my Yoga Mastery program wouldn't really take to that very well because they're all type A busy people with straightforward personalities. I'm here to help you activate the woman who stops treating her yoga practice like this vending machine where you kind of just put in some effort and then instantly you expect happiness. So in this video, we're going to look at the real truth about what's actually going to happen when you go from this place of just feeling chaotic to a place of feeling calm and centered through a practice because you shifted your mindset from one of lack to one of gratitude. So let's dive right in. Let's talk about the trap of transactional yoga. I know this because I intimately lived it for years. So back in 2018, my brain literally felt like it had 100 tabs open all the time, every single day. I was dealing with severe ADHD, anxiety, and just this general sense of chaos in my life. And I approached yoga the same way I approached everything else in my life at that time, which was to try and get something out of it to stop feeling this internal chaos. And I was doing what I call transactional yoga. When you practice from a mindset of lack, meaning I lack fitness, I lack peace, I lack discipline, and yes, I did lack those things at that time, but you start doing this kind of like mental cost benefit analysis because all these people on Instagram are telling you that all you need to do is a bunch of yoga and you'll find inner peace. And this is the wellness hamster wheel. You start evaluating teachers like their products on Amazon. Oh, like she didn't adjust me enough, her voice was a bit annoying, like her vibe, like I just didn't like it, the studio, the people there weren't like nice. And you keep studio hopping, you keep teacher hopping, you keep doing the next thing, trying to find that one thing that will finally help you fix that internal hole. But sorry to be the one that breaks it to you, but you're trying to fill a bucket with a hole in the bottom. And I was stuck in the soft girl era, and I don't mean the good kind of soft girl era where you're actually respecting your body. I mean the kind where you're just fragile and you accept it. Because when you practice from this place of lack, every single time you fall out of a pose, let's say, then it confirms that internal story that you're a failure. And I used to think like this all the time. Every time I couldn't lift up like the others in the class into like a handstand before jumping back into chaturanga, I would be like, this is evidence that I'm not good enough at yoga yet. I should be doing drills, I should be doing more. And you're projecting your own internal void onto the external world, looking for a class, looking for a guru to save you. And let me tell you, this is exhausting and it leads you nowhere. It's the fastest way to burnout because you're constantly waiting for that ROI. If you don't know what that means, it's like return on investment on your yoga practice. And real yoga, real sadhana, it doesn't actually work like that. Okay, so how do we actually get off this hamster wheel? Because we absolutely must. It happened for me when I discovered the structure of Ashtanga yoga, but more importantly, it happened when I stopped practicing to get something and started practicing to thank something. And I need you to hear me clearly. I'm not talking about like writing in a gratitude journal with some glitter pen or something like that. I'm talking about the gritty, real, physical gratitude. And when you shift into the gratitude mindset, the narrative inside your head absolutely changes. Instead of standing on the mat and thinking, I need to fix my thighs because they're too big, I need a thigh gap, you start to think, whoa, my thighs are super strong and they carried me here today. Instead of saying, I need to fix my scattered brain, you start saying, wait a minute, I'm so grateful that I found a system that allows me to breathe for 60 minutes without looking for my phone. And then, like, finally, I feel much better. And I'm so grateful that I have a way to do that. And this is a game changer because you stop negatively cognizing, and as women, we're so prone to doing that, but it changes the quality of your effort every time you show up on the mat. Because when you practice from a place of lack, the effort feels like a punishment. You're punishing yourself into a better version of you. But you cannot shame yourself into lasting, real, true change. But when you practice from a place of gratitude, the effort feels like an offering. It feels like you're willing to put in more and more. And you push through that burning sensation in your shoulders when you come through chaturanga, not because you hate your arms, but because you're celebrating the fact that you can feel the burn in your shoulders, because your shoulders can hold up your body weight like that and lower down into chaturanga. So you're celebrating that you have a body that's capable of sensation, that's capable of movement. And we all know that sometimes of the month we feel like grandmas and we can't move. So it actually gives us the sense of appreciation for what our bodies can and cannot do. And this requires a deep kind of radical acceptance that I think we all need to taste at some point in our lives. And this is where you get out of that fragile soft girl era where you just accept this as your weakness and you start building like a temple within yourself through the asanas. You stop needing a teacher to entertain you or make the perfect playlist. You stop needing like the sequence to change every single time, and you realize, wait a minute, the sequence that I did today, the fact that I don't need to change it up, the fact that my body can do that 6 times a week, that is a privilege. And honestly, this is the real way to build lifelong consistency, a kind of consistency that stays with you. Because if you're only practicing to kind of fix a problem or you're trying to get something out of your yoga practice, the moment the problem kind of feels a little bit better, maybe you get over that breakup or you get a new job, then you just quit. Or the moment that you feel like, it's too much and your whole life is crumbling because of the problem, you quit. And so gratitude is the only fuel that burns clean enough that will last you for decades. Now here is the paradox, and I know this may not seem yogic and some of this will even sound harsh, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you that everything is love and light. I'm just not one of those teachers, because when you stop obsessing over the results, that's exactly when the results start to come. And I've seen this time and time again in my own life, which is why I can say this with such confidence. But in yoga philosophy, we have this concept of non-attachment. And when you practice from unfulfillment, I don't know if that's a word, but basically when you practice from lack, the results are also stained by this desperation. You're clinging to the results. Maybe you lose the 5 pounds, but you're terrified that you'll gain it back. Maybe you get the handstand, but then you're terrified of falling over after just a second. Even when you succeed, you end up being anxious because the foundation that was built was fear. And so when the foundation has fear, then the result also has fear. But when you practice from gratitude, the results are somehow unstained. You get the body, you get the aesthetics, not because you pushed yourself or because you punished yourself, but because you actually respected your vehicle enough to show up every single day. And you find the mental clarity, not because you were desperate to like delete your anxiety like all these videos on YouTube tell you to, but because you showed up for your mind day after day and you watched it without judgment. And so you can stop finding a guru, you can stop finding, that perfect retreat that you need to go on, because you realize that the daily discipline of showing up for yourself, especially with a practice like Ashtanga, is the guru. And yes, having a guru actually makes a huge difference. It makes things infinitely easier because you can submit. And not all of us have the privilege of finding the right guru, one who isn't, tainted by all these like motives. And I've been very, very lucky. I've had some incredible gurus, and I'm here right now in Mysore studying with Saraswati Joyce, the lineage holder of the Ashtanga tradition. And I've done all of the advanced asanas. I've had real gurus from a very, very young age, and I've chased all the goals as well, of like getting the handstand and looking good on Instagram. And there's nothing wrong with doing advanced poses, but let me tell you, there's nothing in the advanced poses that you won't find in the basics if you do it with this mindset of gratitude. And so when you stop asking, what can yoga give me today, and start asking, how can I show up for myself fully today? How can I actually make my mind and body available? then the void, that internal thing, starts to fill itself. And you stop having these frantic desires to like look a certain way or be a certain type of person that's a yogi. And you start and you wake up and you do your work and you tick the box and you remove that wanting, desperate energy, and you're just left with the actions themselves. Now you're kind of free to do those actions without setting such high expectations on yourself every single time to get them done perfectly. And even if you have a bad day, you're just kind of getting through it. And then 6 months later or 12 months later, you look in the mirror and you realize, oh my gosh, wait, I'm that solid, strong woman that, I was trying to manifest with those cards in the mirror. To be honest, in the last 5-6 years, I've not weighed myself. I haven't counted any calories. I haven't checked out my body in the mirror to see if I was getting abs. And I've achieved all of those things that my 20-year-old self was dreaming about. And I promise you, you can do this too. So my challenge to you is this. Stop asking your yoga practice to fix you, to heal you, to save you. Stop looking for a teacher or a textbook or a community that can suddenly wave this magic wand and make your life perfect, because there's no such thing out there. I want you to simply approach your mat and your yoga practice with zero expectations. Don't try and get something out of the practice, because this is the first trap, right? You don't want to make your actions or your practice stained with your desires. If you just show up with 100% gratitude for being able to practice, for having the privilege to move, then you'll recognize that being able to practice, being able to do that with your mind and body, that is the gift. That is the shift that you need to make, because then the effort stops feeling like a punishment and you can just get into it. Now, I know that we all have high expectations of ourselves, and if you have this mindset, but you still feel like you're spinning on your wheels and you understand, okay, this is what I need to do, but I don't know exactly how to do it, and you're tired of guessing what to do every single time you get on the mat, then you need a system that's time-tested, that's reliable, and that keeps you accountable. You need to join the Yoga Mastery Program. There is a link in the description below, and I'm here to help you hold up the map, not a map that I made, but also walk this path with you along with others as well. And this will take you from feeling scattered to feeling solid, to feeling sure of yourself. And if you're enjoying these Real Talk videos, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Until next time, take care, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.